Hi, good evening, everybody. I hope all of you are good. Welcome back to the reading practice session. And today we have the last class for this week. So let's begin with today's class. Am I audible to all of you? Here you have your first question on the screen. Thank you. First question on the screen for reading writing blanks, and you have to take 2.5 minutes to solve it, and then you have to post your answers in the chat box. Please make sure that all of you are timing yourself, all of you are having pen and papers to take notes, as many as possible, so that you get the ideas, the approaches, the shortcuts, the rules that can help you to solve your blanks in the exam. 2.5 minutes, start doing it now, and then please post your answers. All right, should be done by now. Let's discuss the answers. Anybody who's left to post? Okay, let's see. This says, so many flowering plants dash insects which pollinate their flowers. So this statement is a fact. Fact means something which is always true, something which happens according to nature, something which is not depending on past, present, or future. So flowering plants dash insects which pollinate their flowers. So insects pollinate the flowers. This is a natural phenomenon. This is a factual thing. And facts are always written in simple present tense. There always comes at least one blank in the exam based on this rule, that they give you a statement which is a factual statement, and in the options they give you different types of tenses. So if you know the rule, you can secure 1 mark minimum for yourself, that facts are always written in simple present tense. So plants is plural, so we do not have to select past form, no continuous form. Plants is already plural, so we cannot have a verb with s, we need a verb without s. That is why the answer will be attract. Plural nouns come with verb without s, that's the rule. So plants attract insects which pollinate their flowers. You can also see that pollinate is simple first form of verb that they have used. They could have used is pollinating or are pollinating, or they could have used pollinated, but no, because it's a fact, they have written it in simple present tense, and we also have to complete it with a simple present tense. This is because only in this way that they can dash the survival of their species. So with can comes first form. All the modals can, may, might, would, could, should, will, shall, they come with first form of verb and without s always. So first, secured is not first form, assured is not first form. We have two first forms, ensure and insure. Insure is a word that comes from insurance. So insure means to get your things insured, from insurance, to get your things protected, that is insure. But this is not the context here. We have to go with ensure the survival. Ensure with E means make sure. So they can make sure the survival of their species, and make sure means ensure here. 1 second, please. Sorry. So this says, a twinner native to southern Africa, this parachute flower has particularly dash strategy for attracting flies for pollination. Has a particularly dash strategy. So what kind of strategy it has is what we need. So cunning can describe a strategy. Confirm is a verb. Confirm is not a type of anything. Adjectives are the words which describe something or which tell us the type of something. Confirm strategy is no type of strategy. Coarse is the opposite of soft. So coarse and soft are not strategies. And certain is used in terms of some specific things, that I have certain rules. Certain means I have some 4, 5, 6 rules which you have to follow. So specified things are certain. So again, certain cannot be a type of strategy. So we'll go with cunning. Cunning basically means very clever. So that can be clever, can be a strategy. Has a particularly cunning strategy for attracting flies for pollination. Its way of ensuring pollination is a complicated ploy, dash, fraud, and imprisonment. So what we have in the options is different types of tenses. ING, two with ING, one with S, and one without S. The first thing that should come to your mind is, first we should sort out that which tense we need. So can we say its way of ensuring pollination is a complicated ploy, includes fraud and imprisonment. If we want to put includes, we need a word which, that this is a complicated something. Let's not know the meaning of ploy. Pollination is a complicated something. which includes fraud and imprisonment makes sense, without which we cannot say includes. And implicate cannot come because pollination is singular. So we have to have verb with S. We can say pollination is a complicated something which implicates, because pollination is singular, we need a verb with S. But both of them are not fitting. That means we need ing form of verb. And now we can put ing based on the meaning of linking and involving, because they are easy words. So we can say pollination is a complicated something dash fraud and imprisonment. So it is linking fraud and imprisonment or involving. And what exactly was our noun? It's way of ensuring. That way is complicated, involving fraud and imprisonment. Complicated is a negative word. So whatever way, because they have used the word cunning for strategy. Cunning also means something clever, something negative. So we can say it's very clever strategy involving fraud and imprisonment, because clever in the sense it has something deceitful in it, something negative in it. And also with linking, we need linking something to the other thing. We don't have to give. These crimes in the plant kingdom have now dashed by Mr. A or Miss A. Who is she? Miss A, sorry. So what we want to match it with, we want to match our answer with have. So with the have comes third form, that we know, but we have by also. By means this is a passive statement. So we have to keep this also into consideration. So these crimes in the plant kingdom have exposed by, wrong English. Have been, have does not come with being. Being comes with are being or is being. Have been is wrong English. Have comes with been and have comes with being. Both beings are fine, but with by comes ed form of verb, because it's a passive statement. So the answer would be these crimes have been exposed by. If it would have been an active statement, we would have gone with ing form with being. So being, both are fine, but because it's by, we have to go with ed form. So these are the answers. The first statement is a fact. Facts are always written in simple present tense. That is why the answer is attract. The second one, with can comes first form of verb. We had two first forms, out of which one insure means insurance, which is not the topic, and ensure is make sure, which is our topic. It has a type of strategy. Any word that can describe the type of strategy was cunning, because confirm is not a type, course cannot be a strategy, and certain is also not a type of anything. If we want to put includes, we need which in blank forth. This way of ensuring pollination is a complicated something which includes, but we don't have which, so we cannot say includes. Implicate cannot come because it is without S. Involving, it's a fraud, it's a negative thing. Involving fraud and imprisonment, because fraud and imprisonment are also negative things. And with have can come third form, but it is by also. So you have to go with have been something. And because it is by, it will be ed, not ing, based on active passive rules. So this is the explanation of first question. Any doubts if you have, you can put them in the chat box now, please. So for the last blank, you need to clarify your concepts of active and passive. To be brief, with have comes third form, and with by comes, before by comes ed. So if you put in the plant kingdom, have exposed by, that's wrong English, have been exposed by. So Preeti, we have already covered that, so you can go back to the explanation and listen that. Anything that we haven't covered and you are doubtful about it. For includes, we need which also here, which is not given. So that is why we cannot put includes. Have exposed. If you want to put have exposed, it has to be an active statement. Like you can say, scientists have exposed the material. If the sentence is, the material have exposed by scientists. Now, I hope you can understand. The material have exposed by scientists. That is wrong. If you have by, you cannot put have plus third form. It will be active statement. For implicates also we need which. And even if we don't have which, even then implicate cannot come because it is without S. But if it would have been with S, then also we need which, yes. Okay. All right. So here we have question number 2. 2.5 minutes for this. Please post your answers. All right, enough time. Please post your answers. Okay, let's discuss. Since 1970, the demography of this population dashed tremendously. Simple grammar rule, whenever we have since in a sentence with a time period, it is always written with present perfect tense. Always. Present perfect tense. Present perfect means has or have. That's it. There are two options. So in this sentence, we have only has. So that will be our answer. And has and have depends simply on whether the noun is singular or plural. If the noun is singular, we'll go with has. If the noun is plural, we'll go with have. There is no need, no confusion at all in this sentence. Simple rule. Those who know the rule will get this 1 mark. So please note it down, those who did not know it. Since 1970, the demography of this population has changed tremendously. In 2002, Asian Americans were slightly more than 4% of the US population. The growth of the Asian American population since 1970 is due in great part to the dash of. Now understand this sentence structure. The sentence is continuing without this part. The growth of the American population since 1970 is due to the, we put due to together. This in great part is extra information. This can also be the writing styles. So if you anywhere in a sentence you find the words in part or you find the words in great part, in small part, you can always eliminate them to understand the sentence. Those are not helpful to find the answer. So we'll read without this. So the growth of population since 1970 is due to the dash of exclusionary immigration policies. To apply the rule with the and before of always comes a noun. And what is the main word here? Dash of policies. So something of policies. First, let's look at population is a noun, elimination is a noun, amusement is a noun, but eradicate is not a noun, it's a verb. So based on first analysis, we can eliminate eradicate. Now we have to match the answer with policies. Do we have population of policies? Not possible. Can we say elimination of policies? Yes, we add policies like NSW immigration. They keep on adding policies and they then keep on removing the policies. For removing, we can use the word elimination of policies. Amusement means joy. There is no joy of policies. We can have joy because of policies, but there is no joy of policies. So we will go with elimination of policies that existed before 1965. Implementation of new refugee status statutes directly following from the Vietnam War, and the rise of second and dash US born generation. So basically second generation and dash generations. A word that can match with generations. Second generations and subsequent generations. Subsequent means next. Prior means before. Do we have before generations kind of thing? Followed generations. Followed, a lot of you have selected followed, but I couldn't understand the context. Why you have selected followed generations? It can be following the generations, means next coming generations. Can be said following, but followed as a verb cannot be a type of generation. And nearing nobody has selected, it's clearly not the answer. So we'll go with second generations and the next generations, because next would be third, fourth, fifth generations. Then they say in 1970, there were 1.5 million Asian Americans counted in the census compared with the 11.6 million to 13.1 million in 2002. Dash on which 2002 numbers are used. So this was easy with on. We use the word depending on are the two words which come together. Gaining and on is no combination like a fixed combination, no. Deserving on, no fixed combination. Reckoning on, no fixed combination. But depending on is a fixed combination. So we'll go with depending on which 2002 numbers are used. This dash 2 and 8-fold to 9-fold increase. This is singular, so we need a verb with S. So let's first eliminate the ones without S. Reliant is without S. Likely is without S. Amounts or becomes. Out of amounts and becomes, we need a word that matches with to. So have we ever read becomes and to together? To always comes before become. I want to become a doctor. You won't say I want become to something. Become and to do not come together with to written after. So that's wrong English we can say. But amounts to comes together just like leads to. Amounts to also comes together when you have a numerical figure written after. You can say amounts to this figure. So that is how we use the word amounts to. So these are the answers. The first one, with since always comes present perfect tense. That means has or have will come. With the comes noun and something that matches with policies. There cannot be a population of policies, but yes, there can be elimination, implementation of policies, means adding and removing policies. Third, a second generation and the following generations, not followed generation. So it will be second and subsequent. Subsequent means next generations. And then depending on, because it's a kind of collocation, gaining on is no combination, deserving on is no fixed combination. It depends on the sentence if we can put deserving and on together. And then reckoning also, like I say, what do you reckon means what do you suggest? So we can understand it as suggesting. So again, suggesting and on is no combination together. So with this, that's why we have selected depending on, because depend and on are the words which go together. And the last one, this is singular. That means we need a verb with S. So out of amounts and becomes, what matches with to is amounts to, not becomes to is any combination. So that is why it will be amounts to. With this, that comes singular noun. Amounts is not a noun, it's a verb. Any questions? If you have, please put them in the chat box. No, Kushal, you are confusing it with the previous information, because from here they were saying that how it happened, because they eliminated the policies that existed and they put new policies in that. So because of new policies, there was growth in population. So you have to read it till the full stop to understand it. Right? I hope it's clear now, Hina and Arshdeep. You can go to the repeated explanation because it's already discussed 2 times. Question number 3, 2.5 minutes for this. And then post your answers, please. Are we done? Good. So let's discuss this. Says before around 10,000 years ago, North America was dashed to many large and exotic creatures such as this, and this. So North America was place survival country, was home to is a general way of writing that these things used to, or these species or any living beings used to live at a place. So we used to say it was a home for those species. So North America was home to many large and exotic creatures. But by around 10,000 years ago, most of North America's animals weighing over 44 kgs, also known as megafauna dash. Whenever you have by written with a time period, you always use past perfect form of verb in that sentence. So past perfect means had plus third form. So because we have by, so we'll go with had disappeared, a simple rule of grammar. Researchers from this research group in Germany wanted to find out what led to these extinctions. The topic has been intensely dashed for decades. So with topic, we generally say debate on the topic. So topic has been comes with third form. So debated is the third form. So we'll select that. The topic has been debated for decades. Discussed is present form. There is no point of changing of topics happening here. And arguing, if we put ing form of verb, that will mean the topic has been arguing. That means topic is arguing with somebody, which is not possible. The topic has been debated for decades, with most researchers arguing that human dash climate change or some combination of the two was responsible. So human extinction, we still are alive by God's grace. Human capture is not responsible. Human overhunting, that people used to overhunt animals, that's why they have become extinct. With a new statistical approach, the researchers found strong evidence that climate change was the main dash of extinction. So obviously we need a singular answer because climate change is just one factor. So we cannot have plural. Climate change was the main reason is fine, not reasons. Climate change was the main blame of extinction doesn't make sense. Advantage is a positive word. Extinction is a big negative thing happening. So we'll go with climate change was the main driver. Driver you could understand as factor. Like we say motivation is the driver, or we can say motivation is the driver that I keep on studying more. So motivation drives me to study more. So drives me means it is the factor behind. That is also we use the word driven or drive and driver. So it comes from the same family. Drive, driven, drives, and driver obviously. So these are the answers. The first one, America was home to, means once they used to live there, and then whenever we have by, we have to follow past perfect tense, which is had plus third form. And third one, they say the topic has been debated, means a lot of discussions we have had. So debated. Human overhunting is the reason for extinction. And because climate change is singular, reasons cannot be the answer. If we say climate change was the main blame of extinction, that does not make sense. Climate change is not the blame. We are blaming climate change for extinction. Climate change is not a blame of extinction. Advantage is a positive word, so we cannot put that. Climate change was the main advantage. Climate change is a very drawback thing that we have. It's not an advantage to anything. And driver means the main reason behind. So when you have the main factor, the main reason, that thing can be called a driver as well. So Gokul, it's not reason. The answer is not reason because the word is not reason. The word is reasons. So please be careful about singular plural. And those who did not know the word driver, please note it down in your vocabulary list. Yes, someone has, have, had always comes with third form of verb. Yes, place is very general question that can be used for anything. This is a good place, or if you're talking about a holiday spot, also we can say that Gold Coast is a good place. This is a, we can use it for a very narrow thing, that this cafe is a really nice place. So very general use. Okay. All good with this one? So here you have question number 4 on the screen. Let's see if it fits. 2.5 minutes for this, and then post your answers, please. Okay, comparatively easy one. Good attempt, love, and good time management. 𝗙𝗃. Good time management. See, along with getting the answers correct, please focus on the time that you are taking for these kind of questions. This particular one, which I would consider a pretty easy one, you should be taking quite lesser time compared to the other questions. So you have to, for the exams point of view, you have to make certain rules and certain contexts your strength, so that you are solving them bit quickly than compared to the other types, so that you are able to manage to balance the time in a way in the exam. So this is a 2-meter long painting of a kangaroo in Western Australia's Kimberley region, dashed as Australia's oldest intact rock painting. The noun of the sentence is always the word written before of. So we are talking about a painting dash as Australia's oldest painting. Only these words are important to get the answer. And in every sentence, there are only 4 or 5 words which are important. So a painting dash as Australia's oldest painting. So painting is singular, so we cannot put are because it comes with plural. We cannot put have because have also comes with plural. A painting has been identified is right. A painting identifies. It also comes with singular. So these two options come with singular. But if I say the painting identifies as Australia's, that will mean painting is identifying something. Painting is doing the work. Painting cannot identify anybody or any other painting. So for example, if I say she identifies, what does that mean? That this girl is doing the work of identification. In the same way, if you will put painting identifies, that means painting is doing the work of identification. So if you are not very clear with the concepts of active and passive, at least learn this strategy of framing similar sentences so that you can understand which form of verb you need, which tense you need. This was also based on active and passive. Identifies will come if the sentence is active, but the sentence is passive, so we'll go with has been identified. Somebody has identified the painting. Using the radiocarbon dating of 27 mud wasp nests dash from over and under 16 similar paintings. So we all understand the word nest of any insect. Nests dash from over and under 16 paintings. So nests assembling, collected, collapsed, and information. So this was also clear that they have collected the nests from similar paintings because they're very old paintings. So they might have some vast nests on them. So they have collected those nests to find out that how old are they, so that we can get to the date of the painting with the help of those nests. So 27 wasp nests can be collected. They are not assembling from over. They can be assembling the nest, but what sense does it make? Assembling from over paintings. Are they assembling the nest over the painting, which is not possible? So they have collected them from the paintings, and a University of Melbourne collaboration has put the painting at these many years old by studying those nests. Earlier researchers looked at the features of the paintings and the order in which they were painted. The sentence is absolutely complete even without the blank. And after the blank, we have features, which is a noun. That means in the blank, we need adjective. So the simple question is, what kind of features? Any word that can describe features. Devices features. Devices is not a type of feature. Noisy features is a thing, but of a painting, paintings do not have noises. Slightly is not an adjective, it's an adverb. Words that end with ly are adverbs. Stylistic features make sense. It is a type of feature, means very stylistic it was. So stylistic features of the paintings and the order in which they were painted when they overlapped, and were able to work out from there that the oldest style of painting is what's known as this and that. Which often dash life-size animals. So which often, where is it? Okay, which often dash. So we are talking about one style. This is the oldest style, one style. Which often, and often always comes with singular noun. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? Often always comes with present tense, because often means generally. Something that happens generally is present tense. Which often, for a singular noun, we need a verb with S. So importance is not a verb. Defined is past form of verb. Traits is also noun. Traits means characteristics, or traits means features. It's a noun again. But we need verb, which often features life-size animals. The meaning of features, we have two meanings of features. One feature is like eyes, nose, lips are the features of a human body. Features, names of the parts of body, that is features. Another feature is like we use that this model featured on Times magazine. So featured in that sense is not the name of the parts of body. So there are two meanings of features. So we are using features as a verb here. Which often features means which often looks like life-size animals. This kangaroo is a typical dash of paintings in this style. So this kangaroo is a typical, kangaroo cannot be an article. Article means a thing. Shelters cannot come with a, we need a singular word. So we can say this is a typical example of, because again, this painting cannot be a piece of paintings. This is one example of those kind of paintings in this particular style. So these are the answers. The first one singular noun cannot come with are and have. So we have to select between has and identifies. Based on active and passive voice, the sentence is passive. So that is why it will be has been identified. Second, we can only collect the nests. We cannot assemble the nests. We can collect the nests from different paintings. And what kind of features did they look at? Very stylistic, very modern features, very different features are all the words that can describe features, which here we have stylistic here. The fourth one is, this is the oldest style, and this style often dash life-size animals. This style often features, often always comes with simple present tense. This style often means generally. This style shows, features is shows life-size animals. So this kangaroo is one example of those type of paintings. So one example of paintings in this style. Right? So these are the answers. No, Shweta, this is not a fixed rule. There are cases in which after the blank we use ing form of verb also. So ing and ed both are possible. It depends upon the writing style. Yes, often is an adverb. It is an adverb. Yes, with defined we will need as, which if we want to put defined in number 4, we will also need is, which is often defined as. Without is, we cannot put often with past tense. If it is without helping verb, then it will always come with present tense. Right? So this is a painting, Neha. Can we say this painting is a typical piece of paintings? One painting is a piece of other paintings. One painting can be the example of these type of paintings. Right? Shaliza, that depends on the writing style. That's what I'm saying. That depends on context. Like the nests, we have to collect, we can collect. So it depends upon what is the type of information given that we have to select ed or ing. So here is the, oh my God. Let me reduce this. Is it visible to all of you? Right from the very first sentence. in the 2nd century? Okay. So this is the last question for reading writing blanks, and you have 2.5 minutes for this. Post your answers, please. Okay, should be done by now. A difficult context, but a very easy question. Very, very easy answers. Simply based on the things that you keep on doing every single day. In the 2nd century of the Christian era, the empire of Rome comprehended the fairest part of the earth and the most civilized dash of mankind. I actually solved the blanks without reading the sentences, and you could have also done it. Before of, we need a noun, and when we look at the options, achieved is not a noun, introduce is not a noun, relinquish is not a noun, only portion can be the answer, so there's no point of reading the sentence or trying to understand. Relinquish means give up. Those who did not know the meaning, give up something is relinquish. The second says the gentle but powerful dash of laws and numbers. So again, we need a noun and something of laws and numbers. Powerful dash of laws. Doubtful is not a noun. Difficult is not a noun. Peace and influence are nouns, but there cannot be peace of laws and manners. Sorry, but there can be influence of laws and manners. Laws can have their influence. Manners can have their influence on somebody. So manners cannot have peace on somebody. So we can say influence of laws and manners had gradually cemented the union of the provinces. Their peaceful inhabitants enjoyed and abused the advantages of wealth and luxury. The image of a free constitution was preserved with decent reverence. The Roman Senate appeared to possess the sovereign dash and devolved on the emperors. So Senate appeared to possess what? What did they possess? We need a noun. Sovereign dash. Possess means take. So sovereign authority, arrows, easy, taken. Taken, easy, arrows are not something they can take. They are verbs themselves. So they can take the sovereign authority. Sovereign means independent. Independent authority is what they took and devolved on the emperors all the executive powers of government. During a happy period of more than 80 years, the public dash was conducted by the virtue and abilities of 𝗙𝗏. So what was conducted? The public dash. So something was constructed. Again, a noun is what we need. Public honorable was conducted. Honorable is not a thing that can be conducted. Secure again cannot be conducted. Exposing is not something that can be conducted. So only administration is something that can be conducted at least. So public administration was conducted by the virtue and abilities of these. It is a design of this and of two succeeding dash. So two means the answer has to be plural. We look at the options, there's only one plural option, chapter, so no other doubt. And then they say to describe the prosperous condition of their empire and afterwards from the death of Antoninus, to deduce the most important dash of its decline. So again, the blank before of, we need a noun. The most important weight of decline, preserving is not a noun, 7 is not a noun, the only noun is circumstances. Just if you know that you need a noun, you can simply find out that out of the options, only one was noun, all the others were verbs. These kind of questions do come in the exam. So any doubts, anybody in this? Very good, Suman. Weight is also a noun, put weight in the sentence. To deduce the most important weight of its decline and fall. Empire, we are talking about empire. Empire do not have weight of decline and fall. At least 2 words is important to match your answer with. Highest score ever. Very good, love. Very well done. So we have to go to reorders now. One of the most important trends, the last number decline and wait. What is it? Like we use one of the most important trends, the last blank in the essay, but decline and fall. No, I did not understand question. Ask me after the class. No, Shailaja, we just need a noun in the last blank. That's the only hint. We cannot know how many circumstances were there, so it is not based on singular and plural. But yes, rise and fall were 2 options, so we can say circumstances because they're given 2 circumstances, so we can say to some extent. Okay, first question for reorders in front of you, and you have only 2 minutes to solve this. And then please put your answers in the chat box. Very good. Easy question for intelligent students. So the first answer is B. First sentence is B because this is where we have our topic in inverted comma. So that is why this is the first sentence. Here we have introduced model minority. And then we explain what is it. Model minority stereotype is a persistent social issue. So then we are explaining it. And then simply it was based on first, second, and third. So C, D, and then E. Very well done. Good work. Second question, 2 minutes. This one is also easy as we can see there are some clear, however, indeed, they are enough to put the answers. Do it properly, 2 minutes for this. This one was also easy. There were some clear hints. As I said, however, is used when you go opposite to something. Also is a very, very important word that is most of the times is given in reorders, and that helps you to get the right answer. Also have the potential means there should be a sentence which should first talk about potential, and this is the second sentence about potential. This solved all the purpose. So first was C, where you have the topic that a purported benefit of mind body spiritual practices such as yoga, meditation, and energy healing is that they will help quit the ego, providing an effective antidote to the exalted self. Indeed, such practices do have the potential and then also have the potential. First, they have the potential for this. They also have the potential for the second thing, also comes with second thing. And then all these things, sentences were positive. Then we have one sentence, however, this is easy to say than do, which is negative sentence. So that is why it will come after however. So always look for the word also. If it is there, that means one pair is easily made. I hope it's clear now. The last question for reorders for today, 2 minutes for this, and post your answers, please. Okay, let's discuss this very general kind of start. So the first sentence was D, because here's where they are giving us a general start that have you ever wondered if a capybara could somehow take down an elephant in a beachfront brawl? So then they are relating it. That's the kind of thinking, because wondered also means have you thought this way? And then they are referring to it that that's the kind of thinking behind March Mammal Madness, an annual social media event based on the March Madness NCAA men's college basketball tournament. And then it was again linked like its name, because we just gave the name. So they are further explaining what does the name means. Like its namesake, this educational project encourages viewers to fill out brackets predicting which teams would triumph in a hypothetical head-to-head showdown, with the teams in this version being specific mammals. And then the virtual fights each set in. So head-to-head showdown means they compete with each other, and that is what they have further explained. Virtual because it's online, I think. They said, social media, yeah. The virtual fights, each set in randomly chosen arena, unfold as Twitter threads posted by participating scientists, with each move backed up by very real research planning. And so this was further explanation of what happens in the showdown. So they compete with each other, and so that was the answer. Quite general perspective, but a lot of you have done it well. Very good. And let's move to blanks. Reading blanks. 2 minutes for the first question, and put your answers in the chat box after that. Okay, let's discuss pretty easy question. This says ordinary people get good ideas every day. Every day they create and dash and discover things. So first form of verb is going on. We need to find first form, invent, increase, figure, but something that goes with things. So people invent things. The other two options also meant that they create something new, they find something new, or they make something new. Every day they dash out different ways to repair cars and sinks and doors. So something that goes with out is figure out, is a collocation. To increase sales, to save money, to teach their children to reduce costs through dash production. So first form of verb in a positive way related with production. So we can increase or decrease production because it's a countable thing. To write memos and proposals to make things better or easier or dash. So we are going with second form of verb. So it will be cheaper. The list goes on and on. Very slight difference between the words 𝗏. Invent, discover is more used with finding out, and invent is to make. So they can be used in different contexts. Right? Any question, anybody in this particular question? Any doubts? Nobody has it. So the second question, and 2 minutes for this, please. You have done one blank wrong, and then because of that, you have done 2 others wrong. The wheel is one of the most dashed inventions we use in our everyday life. So wheel is a very basic invention because of wheel, we have so many other things that we use. So it is very fundamental invention we use in our daily lives. Invented sometime around 3500 BCE, this particular era. So we use with time periods. What preposition we use is during. During this time, during this period, during this era, always with time periods, we use the preposition during. So during this era, the wheel gave rise to everything from transportation to modern day machinery. So starting with transportation in the past and modern day machinery, and almost everything in between this time period is what they mentioned, what they wanted to write. Means wheel has given rise to everything starting from transportation to the modern machinery and every invention that has taken place between this modern age and the past time and everything in between. The wheel on its own is not very useful if it wasn't suitable for attaching a stable platform by dash it with an axle. This is a common understanding also. We attach the wheel with an axle. So for attach, what we can use is by combining. With by comes ing form of verb. By combining it with axle, and combine and with go together. By combining it with an axle, the wheel would be nothing but a cylinder rolling on its edge. By the time the wheel and axle were invented, it was the Bronze Age. Casting metal alloys, constructing canals and sailboats, and complex musical instruments such as harps all dash the wheel and axle. Some of you have written all introduced. Can we say construction of canal introduced? Canal means a river. Construction of canal introduced wheel to us, or sailboats introduced wheel to us. That's not possible, no. So it was predate, the answer. That all these things existed before the wheel and axle combination was made. So it is all these things predate the wheel and axle, not introduce. These are the answers. Any confusion, anybody? All good. Predate means existed before. Something that existed before the other thing is called predate. All good. Right, so we have question number 3 on the screen and 2 minutes to solve this. Okay, let's discuss. Anybody left to post? So let's see, this says the presentation will cover copyright's position as one of the intellectual property rights and how it dashes from other intellectual property rights. So with it comes a verb with S because it is singular. So let's find a verb with S and we had only one, how it differs from other intellectual property rights. It will give an dash of what copyright protects as well as what may be done with copyright protected works without permission. So with an comes something with a vowel and a noun. It gives an, and if we look at with vowels and nouns, we had only one noun, overview. It gives an overall, it will give an overview of what copyright protects and what can be done if we use it without permission under permitted acts. It is by manipulating the restricted acts through licensing arrangements that right owners dash and exploit commercial markets. So they have used first form of verbs. They have used exploit. So we also need first form of verb and we have to match that word with commercial markets. So owners establish markets or owners create markets. We had two first forms, or review. But how do we know we have to review? Because we haven't already viewed it. So how can we do it again? Review. So it's better to go with established because markets is not a noun that we can create, but yes, we can establish commercial markets. In contrast to commercial markets, the growth of open source and open content licensing models has dashed established business models. So it has come third form of verb. We have two given, challenged or developed. So we cannot say that the licensing models, they have, the growth has developed established business models because it's opposite. So we have to go that they have challenged the business models. The representation gives a brief commentary on two of the more dash open licensing frameworks, the GNU Creative Commons licenses. Two of the more, the answer is prominent, but I strongly feel that this is not going to be the blank in the exam. Rather, I believe they'll give you frameworks as the blank. They'll give you two of the more prominent open licensing dash, and they'll give you 3 words singular and 1 plural, like frameworks. And then because of 2, you will have to select frameworks. Because prominent or successful, it's a very narrow difference. You have to understand the context and then you can find out successful. Though it doesn't make sense with framework. Frameworks are not successful. It has to be prominent, but still, I feel it's a difficult choice for somebody who does not know the meaning of frameworks and prominent both. Right? So here established is being used as an adjective, not as a verb. So established is describing the business models, means what type of business models? Established business models. And then challenged is the verb here. Models has challenged the established business models. Because frameworks, open licensing framework means the ideas, the principles. We cannot say frameworks are successful or unsuccessful because framework itself is not a thing. Framework basically are the principles on which we create something. So successful framework is not a very obvious combination. That is why. The has is not used for models, 𝗙𝗍𝗧. Has is used for growth. What is the noun of the sentence? The word written before of is the noun. And here they have written growth of something and something has. So the answer, growth, is with has, not with models. Okay. Question number 4 and 2 minutes for this. Okay, let's discuss this one. This says self-enhancement dash spiritual practices. So spiritual practices is the method by which we want to do self-enhancement. We want to improve ourselves. So whenever we have any method or any way written, we always use through in that case. So self-enhancement through spiritual practices can fool us dash thinking. So we use this way of writing can fool us into thinking or fool us into believing. This is the writing style when you give the result of something. So we'll go with into can fool us into thinking we are evolving and growing when in fact all we are dash is our ego. When all we are, so they are using ing form of verb, all we are growing is our ego. So basically the sentence meant that when we do spiritual practices, because we want to do self-improvement, self-enhancement, we are very happy because we think that we are evolving and growing, but actually the opposite is happening. We are fooling ourselves because actually what is happening is our ego is growing more. Some psychologists have pointed out that the self-enhancement that occurs through spiritual practices can lead to the I am enlightened and you are not syndrome and spiritual bypass, by which people seek to use their spiritual dash practices and experiences. So plural nouns is what they are using. So we should also look for plural noun that we have here is only one, beliefs. So spiritual beliefs, practices, and experiences to avoid contact with their psychological unfinished business. The sentence is absolutely complete. Contact is a noun. So we need what kind of contact? Any word that can describe. Against, background, foundation, genuine. There was only one adjective. Even if it fits or not according to us, we have to go with it. So genuine contact with their psychological unfinished business. In my recent book, Transcend, I call it transcendence. Transcendence built on a very shaky dash. So with on, we don't say background, we'll say foundation. Something built on a foundation. So these are the answers. Why have you, Somnima and Mandeep, written beliefs in the first blanks? What meaning does it make? Self-enhancement is a process and we want to achieve it through spiritual practices. No, it won't make sense. Against means you are not thinking that thing. Then we can put against. So into means we are thinking that thing. Okay. Any other doubts? Any other doubt? Sorry, anyone? Contact is a noun. Can serve as a verb also in some instances, but here it is a noun. To avoid, because avoid is the verb. Avoid contact, then avoid will be verb because avoid is the action and contact is the noun. Okay, so the last question for today, number 5, and you have 2 minutes for this. All right, should be done. Very good. So this says there are many scientific dash surrounding COVID-19 immunity. So there are many, answer has to be plural. So there are many uncertainties, means not sure things around COVID-19 immunity. And like all vaccines, vaccines against COVID-19 do not offer perfect protection. Scientists do not know how long vaccine-derived dash lasts. So lasts is with S, that means this word has to be singular. So vaccine-derived immunity, we don't know how long this immunity lasts, or whether people who have been vaccinated can dash the virus. So with can comes first form of verb. So people can transmit, means pass it on to others, the virus. Dash antibody tests are imperfect. So we have two things in capitals, in contrast and similarly. The previous sentences were negative. This one is also negative. So we'll go with similarly. Antibody tests are imperfect. And we know that people can be reinfected even once they have had the virus. Immunity passports should only be dashed to those. So with be comes third form of verb, and we have only one. Should be offered to those who pose very little risk to others. Those who have selected in contrast, very bad. In contrast and however, they mean, in contrast means opposite. The previous sentences are also saying that we don't know how good is the immunity. Next sentence is also saying antibody tests are also imperfect. So both the things are negative. Then where are we going in contrast? We don't always just select wherever you see however, you always select however. Read the sentences. No, Divita, in contrast comes when you give opposite information. Okay. Positive to negative or negative to positive, then we use in contrast. Any other doubt in this question, anybody? Is it all clear? Okay, thank you. So these were all the questions that we had to do today. And I hope you would have learned something. And I really, really hope that you will practice with the things that you have learned. Try to cover more and more from your Language Academy portals. Thank you, Preeti. So now you have 3 days to practice. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we don't have the class. So try to apply the things that you have learned in this week. And then we'll meet on Monday again for the next session. Till that time, have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Good night.